Yes, thank you, Rockstar. Thank you.
A case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. These are bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people. When you look at our country, what's happening where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America, from Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East, and they're coming in from jails and prisons, and they're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president and a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it, because they could right now, today, he could stop it. But he's not. They're destroying our country. Our country is in very bad shape. And they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car. But make it very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge. Now, I'm under a gag order, which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before. I'm under a gag order, nasty gag order, where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it, I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order by a man that can't put 2 sentences together, given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ, just so you understand. This is all done by Biden and his people. And maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it, because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name. And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said, I get put in jail. So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do, because there's never been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an angel, but he's really a devil. He looks so nice and soft.
Looks like an angel, but it looks like a devil.
Man, no, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who was a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at. Crime is rampant in New York. Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes, a machete. Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going rampant, and Bragg is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before. I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right? It means that legal expense I paid a lawyer, totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected, she testified, marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense in the books. It's not sheetrock, construction, or any other thing. It's a legal expense. Think of that. This is what the falsification of business records were. And I said, what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified.
I don't know yet.
I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify, because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong, and then they sue you for
I've got a clue yet.
But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in. Not this case. Everything that I was ever involved in.
I know Eminem's put a new song out called Abracadabra. It's good.
Every single thing that I ever did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case. Because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening. The level of support has been incredible. So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed that I'm supposed to go to
Keeping
jail
you all
for 187 years for. When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen in the future. But this is far beyond me. This
I'll put into another video in a minute.
This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my presidency.
Oh, that was quite interesting. Depends what you like in this world, anyway. We got like Keir Starmer did some things as well. As you can tell, I keep coughing. Got a bit of a cough. I'll watch a bit of this reenactment, Warzone, D-Day. This is reenactment, by the way. People have reenacted this.
Hey, buddy. What have you got to say? Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
As I mentioned, of Saving Private Ryan, Medal of Honor. They're reenacting it. Hit the beach now. Do you understand? Do you understand me now? It's in my fire. Kicking off, it's kicking off. This is like World War III, but World War II now. In my fire. There's a plane in the sky there, look at that. Is it a Spitfire? Must be. People have been watching them on the beach reenacting it. So it's not a film, this, it's like reenactment.
Let's go!
I'll jump in the water now. You see the people over this. Who We've been watching them running. See this bit over here? You see there? Wrapping something.
I'll go on the left.
The people sitting in the audience over there. See on the right hand side, there's people there sitting in the audience. Tent is over there.
Are we gonna get in this damn war or what?
I wish they'd make YouTube more interesting again. Oh, bastard. Oh,
Let's move!
well, that's fine.
Everyone moved up, but not moving anymore. There's a foxhole to the left if you want to go there. Yeah, what do you think? Our guys haven't moved up yet. Yep.
Car over that side. There's people sitting in the audience.
Next set. 1 second and then let's go.
Some people like reenactment war zones, but it's not for everyone. But you may like it. You may have done it before.
Alright.
And there's probably not much happening at the moment. They're probably deciding when to run across the field or across the beach.
We probably need a grenade to get that thing out. I don't know who's gonna do that. Where's Holby with the bazooka? Honestly.
If you like your war, you'll like this sort of thing.
If you move up, it's just gonna get it.
Say war is in your history. Well, it is.
We can get that one off the beach. There's no way to advance. Yeah. There's no medics around us to get our guys. You're gonna move? Covering fire?
They're waiting there a long time, aren't they?
Little drop. He wants us to move up. Let's go to that hole. We can make it. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Yep. Let's go.
Oh, they're running now. find his gun. Shoot the gun, shoot the gun. There is a Medal of Honor. Save a Private Ryan. They're shooting blanks, not real ammunition. Feel free to send a message if you like. We can keep talking and filming and whatever else.
Think about that stretcher team.
There's a warplanes in the sky.
I know. We're pretty ahead of the pack, though.
Oh, our guys are 150 meters behind us.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this is going to be on for. We're nearly finished.
We don't know where we're going or what. As far as we can move on.
Well, if it's nearly at the end of the video, we've seen what's been else on.
Give him help!
I do like my war films, as you know I do. But, yeah. Not a great deal of it, is there?
With
all
so
these
many
bloody
holiday
adverts.
homes on Booking.com, there are
See?
so many Tina Feys I could be. So I hired body doubles.
Stupid adverts.
Wild Tina at the apartment. Booking.com. Booking.com.
Star Wars. I'm not a fan of adverts. Who isn't?
They are, which is quite remarkable for a unit
Quite remarkable for a unit.
that supported the U.S. First.
I'm trying to figure out what to put on here. I don't know what to put on. There we go.
Today marks 74 years since the D-Day invasion. It also marks an opportunity for us to visit with an old friend who landed on Omaha Beach at 6:30 in the morning this day in 1944.
I wish I could keep going back every year because I love that hallowed ground. I want to get down there and I want to talk to these guys.
Sergeant Major Robert Blatnick of Rowlett, part of the Big Red One, finally able to go back to Omaha Beach, but it was 2013. We were there with
Yeah,
him.
but we're in
And what happened
2024
on that
now.
visit is as emotional and as
Couple of years
powerful
ago, this video.
today as it was then. He hasn't touched this sand in 69 years.
I have this the most I walked in years now. And I'll keep on going. I just can't stop. I've got to get there and see where that draw is going up.
And at the age of 93, after walking over a quarter-mile on the sand, Robert Blatnick's arrival on this stretch of Omaha Beach is a moment that brings him to his knees.
Oh, dear Father in heaven, thank you for saving me. And how I thank these men that gave up their lives for us. Oh, thank you, dear Lord, for our truth and first. I give you thanks, dear Lord. And may all these souls rest in peace. I know you're taking good care of them.
He came to see again the exact spot where he landed June 6, 1944, and then watched over half of his men die.
Well, man, I wish we had 901 men. When we finally got a count, the next day, I think we had 387. So that was terrible.
Sergeant Major Robert Blatnick was and forever will be a part of the Army's 1st Division, the Big Red One. He's back on Omaha in the same sector he came ashore. It's called Fox Red 1. His recollection of the hell he survived on this beach is very clear. And it was that sound over and over.
Over and over, just constant, just constant.
He remembers crawling through this sand, but never stopping.
Well, that's why the guy says, let's dig in, sir. Says, like hell, we got to get up off there. Just you dig your grave here. We got to get up to find the enemy. That's the only way we'll survive.
The sergeant major had a good teacher. He served in 2 invasion campaigns prior to D-Day with a decorated soldier who chose him as his right-hand man. That was Teddy Roosevelt Jr., whose gravesite is nearby at the American Cemetery in Coville-sur-Mer.
It was a miracle that I was able to come back here. I would never thought, I'd never even dreamt that I'd be able to come back here.
This is Omaha Beach at low tide, and this is relatively the same conditions that they had back in 1944. And for Robert Blatnick, he had to make that run from out there all the way up to here. His first point of cover would have been the cliff line right here along the beach. And here we are 69 years later, and he has no idea why he survived and others didn't.
Thank you, dear men, for sacrificing your life for me. And I give you thanks for that. I wish that I would have taken my life instead of yours, that you could have survived instead of me.
Blatnick's return to D-Day included many heartfelt moments, from the thanks of local school children who knew well the story of his men and the fight for liberation, to the quiet salutes to those who didn't return. It's allowed him to say goodbye to friends. It's allowed him to make peace where war once ruled. Was it worth it?
I think it was worth it because now we got peace and we got democracy restored. I think that was worth it.
So again, an encore performance of a piece that aired in 2013, but I visited at the Major's house today, 98 years old. Sergeant Major still volunteers 2 days a week at the VA in Dallas. He will be there this coming Friday. In total, Scott, he has given over 9,000 volunteer hours to the VA alone. And when you look at where he was and where he is today, that is, without question, a life well lived.
Oh, yeah. Powerful story that you told there, Doug. He looks like he's a guy that never meets a stranger, right?
No, he's a wonderful man, a loving man, a kind man, and the best of all is he is a giving man, and that's all he's ever wanted to do after God graced him and got him off that beach in Omaha alive.
What was it like for you to stand there on that beach as well?
When I've said this from 2013 forward, when I went with North Texas D-Day heroes, to hear the spoken word of the men and women who were in the fight, of the people who were there that day, that is a piece of history that will never feel the same as when you get it out of a book. Any opportunity you get to get it from somebody firsthand like him, we grab that opportunity. So thank you for partaking. And Sergeant Major, I know you're up late tonight. Salute to you and thank you for everything you've done for us.
That's pretty cool then, isn't it? You know, some people have served, some people haven't. Some people probably don't talk about war, but you know, a lot of history about war and D-Day and stuff and what it's about.
This is the tale of two soldiers who have never met and who were supposed to kill each other 75 years ago on this beach. One fighting for Führer and fatherland, Paul Goltz, aged 18 on D-Day. The other fighting for king and country, Harry Reid, barely a year older. You might know him by now. Harry Reid, 95 years old. Age didn't prevent him from jumping out of a plane yesterday, as he did 75 years ago in the first hours of the invasion. He spent most of his life working for the Salvation Army. Forgiveness was virtually written into his contract, and yet when we spoke to him recently about meeting Paul, the German soldier, he was cautious.
I'm not sure what I'm going to say to him. I'm going to have to think about it. But I do know this. I will accept him. I will accept him. How can I be at odds with somebody? I can't, can I? I can't. It's just not love. And whatever words are needed, they will come. They will come.
And then Paul Goltz, 94. He spent yesterday at the German War Cemetery in Normandy, a somber place of black stone crosses, the resting place of the vanquished. I spoke to him on the beach, close to where he surrendered his gun, his freedom, and his war to an American tank crew.
And the soldiers, 4 soldiers so came and looked in these fields, in these pastures, and saw us. Hey boys, come on, let's go. The war's over for you. That's what they shouted.
They shouted at.
The Schneider, he wanted to shoot with his pistol on
Your
this
fellow
guy.
soldier. He wanted to shoot them with his pistol.
Yeah, with his pistol.
What did
And
he say
the
to
lieutenant said to him, throw the pistol away to me. You're crazy. You can't do with a pistol a tank.
The war was indeed over for Paul, not for his family. His village in eastern Germany became part of Poland. His father, a farmer, was killed by Russian soldiers, his sister raped. But defeat gave Paul, like much of Germany, a new lease of life. He became a prisoner of war in Scotland and America, learned English and joined the diplomatic service. Was he afraid on D-Day?
Nein, mit 18 Jahren, es war eine neue Situation für mich.
Positiv oder negativ?
Jetzt beginnt es endlich, dass wir das hinter uns bringen. I saw these 1,000 ships, and I thought
You knew it was over.
that I should better make peace with America and England and only keep the Russians away from Berlin, because my family was near in the east of Pomerania. At first there came the Russian there.
You were much more afraid of the Russians
Yeah.
than of the Americans. And the
That's what I thought.
It was time for Paul and Harry to meet on neutral ground in the Café de la Digue in Kabul.
And I'm so glad to see you and to hold your hand and say, bless you, we are partners. Once we were on a different side, but we are partners together in the rebuilding of the world.
That's why I find very fine.
That's right.
Yes,
And
that's right.
I'm just so glad to see you.
We understand each other.
You were here and you were fighting for survival.
Yeah.
The idea that one day, 75 years later, let alone jumping out of a plane, you would be sitting here with a German former soldier who was on the other side having this conversation.
Not at that time, although my common sense told me that there were people very peacefully minded, and their voices so often were silenced.
What would your advice be to young people? Dein Rat für junge Leute?
Für junge Leute, look at the cemeteries where the people died for us. Because we have the peace for 75 years old. Peace, keep the peace, get with you.
And
now
you.
we are friends.
We are more than that. We are more than that. We are brothers.
The eye
Well.
sees.
Harry Reid and Paul Golds, brothers and friends. Well, I'm joined now by 2 more men who landed here in Normandy, Bill Gladden and Dickie Forrester. Thanks very much to both of you for coming on the programme. You saw the film that we just aired of the German veteran and the British veteran meeting. What did you think when you saw that, Bill?
Well, I was rather impressed. It's the first time I've seen a ex-German soldier and a British soldier meeting. I've never seen that before.
You've never met any German soldiers yourself?
No, none whatsoever.
What about you, Dickie?
Well, I always used to see one called Willie that used to go to Pegasus Bridge every year, and they sort of adopted him until he died. But he's been dead some time now. But the parents sort of talked to him like a mascot.
Right.
But God, I'll never let him inside.
She's the woman who owns the cafe, right?
No, Germans are not allowed inside the cafe.
We had her on the programme yesterday, yes.
If Germans go in, they have to go in the back.
She's quite a formidable grande dame, is that
She's
right?
a wonderful lady. I gave her flowers yesterday, and she's a nice lady.
So, Bill, when you came over, you came by glider, and you were the first glider to ever take a tank. Explain that to us. I mean, the idea of a glider coming into Normandy is just astonishing.
Well, it's just that I was in the Armoured Corps where we had the Valentines, and then I went with Hobart. I'm on the East Coast of Orphaness. I was one of his dispatch riders, and then they asked for volunteers for the Airborne Armoured Corps, so I went with them. and we were at Lark Hill where we did our training, and then we were taken to Turret Ruston in Dorset, and fortnight before D-Day, we put barbed wire out to stop people getting in, stop us going out, because we weren't allowed out.
Because there's a big secret, wasn't there,
Yes,
using these gliders?
yes. And they had briefed us as well, you see.
And they used the gliders so that the Germans couldn't hear them in the middle of the night as they came across.
Yeah, we came in D-Day afternoon.
Right.
The 22nd Independent Parachute Battalion, they went in first to blow the poles out the field. There was all poles in the field. But little did they know, our glider was that big, we would have missed the poles.
Right.
But the horses, it would have taken the wings off.
And there was a tank on the glider?
Yeah, we had a tank and 6 motorbikes, 350 matches. I was on the bikes, actually.
And you were injured soon after you landed, right? Or?
Yeah, I landed on the 6th. I was wounded on the 18th.
Right.
And
what happened?
Well, we'd been out on it because we did all the recce work for 6th Airborne Division, and we'd been out this particular day. I come back to the orchard at Ronville, and I was just about to grew up tipping down some water, and then there was a bang, and I was on my back.
Right.
And I didn't know then, but I was told afterwards that a tiger had come into our orchard and blasted us. So I don't know whether it's his 88 or his machine gun that got me. But it took all the front of my ankle away. I just the Achilles over the floor.
Dickie, what do you remember most about those first few days of the invasion?
Well, first of all, I was frightened. And secondly, I was seasick. I was so
That's
sick.
not a good combination, is it?
I thought I was dead. Oh, it's a terrible feeling, seasickness. So I never recovered for about 2 days. I felt very guilty about it.
And just describe that moment when you came off the boat and you had to rush onto the beach.
I didn't have to do that because I was laying there in shocking state.
Really?
And the sergeant pulled me out and left me there, and a medical orderly came on and done it. And he said to this captain, he said, this man's not too good, he might be dying. He said, you're damn fool, he's got seasickness.
And, you know, this has been such a poignant occasion for so many people. I mean, for you, obviously, who were here, but also for those who weren't here, and try to imagine, what did today mean to you, perhaps compared to some of the other anniversaries you've been attending?
It's the same as every one I've ever done.
Really?
I'll tell you, my old chairman, Arthur Middleton, God bless him, was Black Watch. And he said, when you go away with it, we used to go away, they'd come here every year. I've been coming here over 30 years. He said, you must wear your medals.
You've got a lot of them.
Well, that's window dressing. You must wear your medals because the people high underneath you that you remember never had a chance to wear them, and they were entitled to. And also you can explain to the people, they're not all French, they come from Holland, they come from America, explain why you're there. They see, oh, this man was here, or he was something to do with it. So they fit in together. And that's my opinion, and every time I come back, it's a joy.
What do you think people should remember most from this occasion? What do you want young people especially to take away?
Don't go to war, because it doesn't get you anywhere. It's just an absolute waste of time.
And victory is nice, but it's very, very dear. There are lots of youngsters laying out there in the cemetery. We are in the 90s and 20s. Killed and maimed. We don't want that to happen again.
You lost friends, both of you, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, my dearest friends I've lost have died since the war, which I miss very much.
I've got 2 friends laying in Ronville Cemetery. I visited yesterday, and I normally try to find them. And I helped carry them on. They were both killed.
War's a bad thing for sometimes, for some people. Some people survive and some people die. If you're lucky, you survive, obviously.
I want it.
Really stupid bloody adverts. Advert of a bloody Muller rice. Just triggers me off adverts. Just wasted so much of my time, adverts. Football and adverts are annoying.
To the back of me, there was a soldier. So
To the back of me, there was a soldier.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, there's a soldier coming.
To the back of me, there was a soldier. So I hollered, "Hey, buddy, have you got a match?" No answer. I turned and looked, and there was no head under the helmet.
You are about to embark upon the great crusade to meet this mounting aggression.
And make no mistake about it, good will prevail.
I was born in Owatonna, Minnesota, and raised in 2 miles west of Hope on a farm. My dad could not afford to pay for my room and board in town. We lived out in the country, and I was going to quit high school, and I got a job helping a lady that had 8 room and boarders, and for my room and board. So my cousin Chick and I were walking around on a Saturday morning, and walked by the Roxy Theater, and it said, Saturday matinee, Gene Autry, America's favorite cowboy, 10 cents. Between us, we couldn't come up with a penny. He says, Jake, the National Guard,
ooh, I say,
is advertising they want to fill their ranks. This is when Hitler took the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia and annexed Austria. So the National Guard was preparing itself for a war in 1938. And he said, Chick said, let's go down to the armory and enlist. I said, sure, we're 15 years old. You have to be 18 years old. Chick said to me, Jake, we'll go down there. And when they ask you how old you are, you look them right in the eye and say, 18 years, sir. He looked up, what can I do for you, young men? Well, that was give us inspiration right there, being called young men when we were just 15-year-old boys. I said, sir, we'd like to join the National Guard. And I'm looking at him and thinking, 18. He said, what year were you born? Whoa, wait a minute. I was born in 1922. Take 3 away from that, that's 1919. No, 1919, sir. He says, sign right here. Then the Japanese hit Pearl Harbor. And the next thing I knew, the 135th Infantry Regiment was moved to Fort Dix, New Jersey for embarkation. So we went overseas and started off out in Armagh, North Ireland, got transferred into G3 of 5th Corps. I didn't even know what G3 was at that time. And 5th Corps, what in the world is that, man? I'm from an infantry. I found out. Corps. There's 2 corps under every army. And a corps has 2 divisions in it. Man, I'm from an infantry regiment. You can't get any lower. And here I am up next to Army. And G3, there's 4 Gs in the Corps. G1 is personnel. G2, intelligence, where they go out and
get intelligence on the enemy, and they informed G3 the plans and training. Plans. I became a sergeant, and out of the 30 people, Colonel Hill picked me to go with him to plan the invasion. We went to Portsmouth, and that's where General Eisenhower and all his staff was down there. I didn't see him. We worked on the troop movements of our 2 divisions under us. We had the 1st Division and the 29th Division under us that landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day. That's pretty much how I got in on the invasion. On D-Day, I landed with troops from the 1st Division, the 16th Infantry Regiment, and when we got to the shore, we landed with water right up to our chins. They left us off too far out, and I had been the first one.
Quite interesting, isn't it?
LST. So I sat right next to the pilot, a Navy pilot, and when the ramp went down and they got into the water and out, I was the last one in line. Now, I'll tell you that they had over 1 million mines in that Omaha Beach. 1 million. And there were other lines going in at the same time that we were going in. And once in a while, the spurt of water would shoot up in the air. Somebody stepped on a mine. I was more afraid of stepping on a mine than I was at the gunfire coming at us. And when we got up out of the water, I separated from the 16th Regiment, and I got behind a berm. I'm drawing machine gun fire from two machine guns. These German machine guns. Those machine guns, 42 shot 1,200 rounds a minute, twice as fast as any of ours.
Well, there we go.
So they had me pinned down from both sides of the cliffs, and I got behind this little berm that was 6-8 inches tall, and that berm saved my life there. And while they were shooting right there in front of that berm, I dragged out a cigarette. I had a waterproof cigarette holder. Put it in my mouth. My matches were wet. I could see peripheral vision. To the back of me, there was a soldier. So I hollered, "Hey, buddy, have you got a match?" No answer. I turned and looked, and there was no head under the helmet. It probably saved my life to turn. It's like the soul of that guy said, "Get up
and get out of here now. And by some miracle, those machine guns stopped to reload or to change barrels or something. I got up and ran toward the cliffs. And while I was running, they got started again, and they were firing at me. And I said, God, what is happening? I'm getting fired at. I can't see anybody to shoot back at. I made it to the cliff without a scratch. At that time, they opened up the path up the cliff through this ravine that had been filled with barbed wire. Couldn't get up there, and they got Bangalore torpedoes came in, and they shoved those up there and blasted out that barbed wire. And that's when the Germans cleared out, because once you get behind them, you got them dead to rights. So to tell you the truth, I do not remember going up that cliff, up that ravine, and everything. The next thing I remember, Madison Rich, Corporal Madison Rich, and I were digging our foxholes. It was 7 o'clock at night on D-Day. I had found a litter, brand new. It was just laying there. So I dug my foxhole a little bit longer and put that litter in the bottom. I was going to sleep on that, avoid the wet sand. And 7:15 at night, someone said from Howard, from the command post, Sergeant Larson, Colonel Hill wants to see you immediately. So I went in, reported to Colonel Hill, and he says, Sergeant, he says, I just got word from First Army. They want me to keep G3 open 24 hours a day. You are going to run the night shift. I said, starting right now? He said, starting right now. So I went back. It still wasn't 7:30, so I went back, told Madison Rich. I said, Matty, you can sleep in my foxhole tonight. I got that litter in it.
I'll be back in a minute. I'm just getting a drink of water, and we can keep filming this. What's on the TV? Just need to get some water. Back in a minute. Give me 2 seconds. No, he's just killing me. Yep. Well, I've got to do everything, yeah. Why? Sorry about that, to sort the tumble dryer out. Doesn't work properly half the time. Screeching noise and the clicking noise.
Already here. So he laid his M1 Garand rifle on my litter, and he went to sleep. I went to work. And at midnight, a German reconnaissance plane came over and started taking pictures. They had these parachute, handkerchief-size parachutes
at my feet
with magnesium flares in there that lighten up the sky like better than daylight. And our anti-aircraft.
I'm halfway through this, so my phone's on a bit of low battery. It may film a few more things until may have to charge the phone up actually at some point. Just trying to figure out what else I can put on. I'm showing you kind of old videos, but you can bring old videos back to life in 2024. Doesn't really matter. Which you knows.
Fix your tariff.
Got a
So
Pepsi.
switch to Eon Next.
Join more than 50 million investors around the world who love Vanguard Value. Vanguard, value to investors.
That's a grenade. Bulletproof plates!
Bulletproof plates. I'm trying to find another war thing I can put on, but hard to find sometimes when you're just flicking through things. Like a short video or a short video. Yeah, never ideal. Find war.
It was brutal. The beach was just horrible. The smell, the stench was brutal. I was burning tanks, everything. And I saw this kid with a radio on his back, and I said, ha, there's my savior. I started to walk down towards him, and
squeaky chairs.
There was an overhead burst took place. It hit him, and it cut his arm off, and it destroyed the damn radio. And I went down to him, and a medic was with me. And we tried to pull him up, and his arm had been severed completely, and the kid died.
At my feet.
You are about to embark upon the great crusade to meet.
People know what feet are, don't they?
And make no mistake about it, good will prevail.
The war. Oh, what? It's a bit like Boris Johnson talking about the war. I don't know. It's all go, as one would say. It's all go. Nice if they actually made more war films and games, but some people probably disagree. But it is what it is at the end of the day with war. It's good for money, you know. Can't find any more bloody war. Anyway, you better end the video. Thank you for all joining me, and hope you all enjoyed it. See you next one. Peace. Take it easy.
We're the cousins who ruled over dozens.